Hi there. Welcome back to Writers World Radio, episode 52. I shall be your diverse host, Matthew Graken. So it's February again, and it's Black History Month. So before the Olympics start and we all get engrossed into that, figured let me go over my top 5 for 2018, my top 5 list of Black History Month books that are relevant. Well, they're relevant all times of the year, but even more so during this celebration of culture. That's really what it would come down to. About diversity, inclusion, exclusion, but striving for unity. And we'll go with that. So let me start right from the beginning, and from the beginning I mean the end. So number 5, which would be the bottom. And some people are going to wonder why. How do you have this at number 5? Well, let me just say the selections have been tough. There's so many good works out there. That's why I figured let me just do this one for this year, and maybe next year do something else. Do another list. So number 5, The Color Purple, by Alice Walker. It's about Cecil growing up in the Deep South and the trials and tribulations that she had to go through, not only as a young black woman growing up in slavery, but well, the woman part too. So you just go with the African American part, you also have the woman. Just, I mean, talk about someone that just didn't get any respect, and by even other African Americans was looked down upon, and until she found someone that respected her for her. Very moving story, which also became a movie, and then became a Broadway play, and lots of good stuff. So yeah, believe it or not, number 5. Number 4, moving slightly up, I Know Why the Caged Birds Sing. It's an autobiography by Maya Angelou. And again, talks about her upbringing. How at an early age, her and her brother Bailey her mother gave him up pretty much, and gave him to their grandmother for her grandmother to raise him, and the sad times that she had to go through, and the struggles that she had through life, until she finally, at a much later time in her life, finally came upon realizing how much she actually is worth, and how much she should respect herself. So that's number 4. Number 3. This is more of a looser one, but it's more of a children's book. Moses. Not the one you're thinking of. This is Moses when Harriet Tubman led her people to freedom. It's a long title. But it's by Carol Boston Weatherford, and illustration by Kadar Nelson. It's a retelling of Harriet Tubman leading the slaves from the South. Is it completely factual? No. Does it have a lot of factual elements in it? Yes. Like I said, it's a retelling, so it's, as it is, it's not the true full story. But the author does take the liberty of putting in his notes at the end of the book, in the cover, about a lot of historical facts, and does put the historical facts and moments into the story. So, number 2. I'm going with a big one here. Number 2 and number 1, I feel personally, could be interchanged. But just to give number 1 a little more surprise, I went number 2 with Roots. Not just a great miniseries, but it's by Alex Haley. And it's, well, his lineage, really. It's the story of his family and how, what is it, great-great-great-grandfather? It's over several generations. But how they came to America, let's put it that way. How his family came to America and fought their way up from slave to farmer to lawyer and author. And just the struggle that this family went through and the accomplishments that they were able to achieve. And my number one pick for 2018 is The Story of Ruby Bridges by Robert Coles, illustration by George Ford. This is obviously the story of Ruby Bridges. Well, who is she, you may ask? Ruby Bridges, it's a true story of a 6-year-old girl. She's not just any 6-year-old girl, obviously, to have a book about her. She is one of the first 6-year-olds, one of the first African Americans, really, to become a student at a all-white elementary school. And the friction that was created. Some people didn't have a problem with that. Other people had a huge problem with that. And her family would pray and just say, forgive these people. They don't know what they're doing, which is the case. But it's a very delicate story. Strangely enough, it's a children's book. It's a very powerful story for a children's book. So maybe for slightly older children. But it's a story that should be known. And that's why I put it for number one, because Roots you've heard of, and I Know Where the Caged Bird Sings, and Color Purple. You probably even read those in high school or college. This is probably a little lesser known story. That's why I bumped it up to number one over Roots. And just thought it's a good story to know. So there you have it. Those are my top five stories for Black History Month for February 2018. Are there any stories that you would want to put in there? What stories would you suggest? What is your top five for Black History Month? Put them in the comments below. Shout them out on Twitter at Matthew J. Gragan. Or even post it on the Facebook. Facebook.com/Matthew J. Gragan. Don't like using social media? Who could blame you nowadays? You could still send a good old email. Send it to writersworldradio@yahoo.com. If you're using the social media, though, use hashtag writersworldradio. Keep it all together. This way, people are looking for it. It's a little bit easier to find. Kind of cataloging it. So I hope everyone's doing well. Like I said, the Olympics are about to start up. Enjoy the games when the world finally can come together in usually, hopefully, peace and competitive sports and battle it out that way instead of with guns and war. Well, no, some of the sports use guns, don't they? But instead of war and killing and biases, this is people who have a dream that have come together with the same dream to celebrate that dream in competition. But besides that, you have St. Valentine's Day coming up. So enjoy that. That means this year the last of the 50 Shades movies comes out. Now there's an interesting book of stories for you. We will not necessarily be discussing it this episode. And beyond that, you got President's Day, and you got all the other stuff. And I hope everyone's staying warm up in the northern hemisphere. And the southern hemisphere, I hope you're able to stay a little bit cooler, being that you're in summer. And we're still in the dead of winter up here. Again, hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're able to get those 10 minutes of writing it every day. Just remember, those 10 minutes will add up. You won't believe how much further you've gone along, and that much closer to realizing your dream and completing that one work that you've been struggling with. You can do it. Believe in yourself. That story is within you, not in somebody else. Don't give up. You can get there. You can do it. I believe in you. You should believe in you. Hope everyone's doing well. If you need help, please feel free to contact me. I can try and help you out. But otherwise, I'll see you next time.